It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming at you for a special Friday edition lunchtime stream of the Shoe Shine. All right, I don't know who I'm going to be joined by. Maybe I'm just riding solo, but a big, warm, happy Friday to everybody out there in YouTube Landia. If you're listening at work on your lunch break, man, let me tell you how much I appreciate you. If you're working from home, let me tell you, and you're listening to me, let me tell you how much I appreciate you. If you're in the whip on a Friday listening to me, damn, I really appreciate you. Shout out to Fonzie619 first in the chat. Saludos, big homie. I'll be seeing you next weekend, Cinco de Mayo, right here in Las Vegas. A huge boxing weekend coming up in just less than 8 days. As next Friday, we're going to be getting the Fatal Fury, which tomorrow is the beginning of Fatal Fury in the UK. We're going to talk about that after I talk about NFL Draft. Next Friday, we have, to me, the biggest fight of Cinco de Mayo weekend. Forget about the fact that Canelo Alvarez is fighting next Saturday. He's not fighting in America. He's fighting in Saudi Arabia, right? Shout out to the big Canelo fans out there. Carlos M., I see you in here, homie. By the way, if any of you guys want to chime in and talk, I can put my link up and you could join me as the special Friday co-host, or I'll be doing that. Let me know. Just let me know. I'll drop the link. All right, a lot to talk about next Friday. Obviously, I'll be tuned to the TV to watch this New York City fight. The return of Ryan Garcia post-PED suspension against Las Vegas's Rolando Romero. Now a welterweight championship fight. Ryan Garcia getting his first shot at a actual welterweight title, which is a kind of a joke because it's a minor belt, the WBA minor belt, right? It's like they got the junior belt, whatever they call it, the regular belt, and then they got the super belt. Nonetheless, it turns out that Ryan Garcia, should he beat Rolly Romero, somebody who Rolly has had the best of him in sparring right here in Las Vegas, turns out that person's going to be a world champion and get an opportunity to fight immediately because the WBA's they're probably my least favorite sanctioning body. The winner of that fight on Friday is going to get a shot at fighting Drew Evo. That's right, my co-host all the way from the city of Philadelphia, brotherly soul, brotherly love. That person's going to get to fight Boots Ennis for the real title. Meanwhile, the rest of the welterweight division is a complete sham. I'm going to get to that later in the show. Right now, saludos to everybody joining us. Fonzie619 says, Skull got KO'd by a welterweight and sparring it. And the welterweight you must be talking about is Conor Benn. Because Conor Benn used William Skull and Surachi, who is going to be fighting Jaime Munguia next Saturday. All three of them were each other's sparring partners. So if it's true what we heard, what's been reported or rumored, is that Skull can't even hang with Conor Benn. So, we'll get to all that analysis next week. We're going to have so much time to analyze all three fights next weekend. Like I said, shout out to Fonzie. By the way, Fonzie, baseball, great time to be a baseball fan. Somehow, the San Francisco Giants, great time to be a Giants fan, have found themselves half a game behind San Diego Padres, an incredible team. The Dodgers, an incredibly talent-rich filled team. We're ahead of the Dodgers. Incredible time to be a Giants fan again. I'm loving it. And we play San Diego Padres twice next week. That's right, Fonzie. Sometime in the middle of the week, somehow we're playing just 2 games against the Padres in a battle for first place. I assume if the Giants can keep winning, we'll have a battle for first place in the middle of next week, in the middle of Cinco de Mayo week preparations. It'll be very, very exciting. Share the show, guys, if you don't mind. Shout out to Pink Panda, said hello. Shout out to everybody out there in YouTube Landia. I appreciate you guys. Let's try to get some more people in the room on a Friday. Last Friday, I think I tried this. It was great, but people were busy. In fact, last night I wanted to go live. I reached out to Drew. Well, I'm not sure if he's available, but Drew went to a bar to watch the NFL draft day one. And yes, I was glued to my TV. Why does the NFL take so effing long to put on that show, guys? I mean, I was joking with my wife while we were watching it, and shout out to my wife for watching it with me. I'm like, can you imagine a fucking beauty pageant where they said, okay, here's Miss Nevada, and then they've talked for 5 fucking minutes before they brought out Miss Oklahoma? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how slow the NFL draft is. It does not make any sense. Nonetheless, the big story of today, and guys, who do I have up here? Those of you might want to put it in the chat. Those of you don't, that's Steve McNair, because the Titans did what I think is the absolute best thing they could have done, and it's draft himself Cam Ward. Cam Ward picked number one. Picked not at number one spot in the NFL draft, a quarterback. The big story is that Shador Sanders, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen on day one. Not a first round draft pick. They told the media told us, his father told us, everybody told us that Shador Sanders was going to be the top pick in the draft, the top 10 recruit, and blah, blah, blah. Bro, he couldn't even beat BYU last year. He got demolished by BYU. Personally, I think his arm is mid. His IQ really isn't even as strong as Jackson, who was apparently his preferred pick was to go to the New York Giants, but the New York Giants felt elsewise and picked Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart, I was watching all of his tape, and I think they made the right choice. He's a far better pick. NFL teams recruit based quarterbacks on traits, and Jackson Dart has far more workable traits. He seems to be a guy that's going to be more well equipped for the NFL. But let me know what you guys think. Where does Shador Sanders get drafted today? Because the Las Vegas Raiders, the Browns, and the Raiders seem to have the most interest in Shador Sanders. And with Pete Carroll now taking over Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders drafting the best running back, in my opinion, of college football last year. And this dude is the future beast mode, in my opinion. Remember, Pete Carroll had beast mode from Oakland. We had him. Well, I'm not a Seattle guy, but Pete Carroll did so much with the Beast. And I think that the Raiders have just picked up their very own version of the Beast here in Las Vegas. And I'm actually thrilled for the Las Vegas Raiders. Will they pick him up? Will they pick up Shador Sanders today in the 37th pick? They have an opportunity not only to get the best running back, but one of the top quarterbacks, if you think so. I mean, the Raiders have had that position. They've been flip-flopping on who they were going to have at quarterback all of last year. They had the coaching staff, the head coach, take it out mid-year, whatnot, and they could really use someone if Pete Carroll believes that he can work with Shador Sanders, who by most people's opinion is a complete diva and an asshole, an incredibly difficult person to work with. If they want to pick him up, they have an opportunity later today in the 37th spot. Or will it be the Browns? Big opportunity for the Browns. Cam Ward, like I said, went first. This is a guy whose ceiling from he came from Miami. I think his ceiling is exceptional, and he went to the Titans. Who did I say he went to? The Titans picked him, and that's why I went back and was looking for pictures of Air McNair. As you guys remember, Air McNair as a rookie, and they got a great documentary on him, took the Titans. Was it his rookie year? But he took them to the Super Bowl. Just turned that franchise around when they moved. When they became Oilers, the Titans. Can Cam Ward be the guy for the Titans? Can he be the next Steve McNair? Really incredible that they didn't draft Shador Sanders. They think Cam Ward has a higher ceiling. I happen to agree. I got a good friend, Johnny Savage, if you're out there listening. Johnny Savage, a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. They picked up, of course, one of the best athletes of the entire draft, the Heisman winner, Travis Hunter, cornerback and wide receiver. What are they going to do with him? Obviously, I'm sure Trevor Lawrence, who was drafted here. I remember that draft. I was here in Las Vegas with Johnny, and how excited those Jaguars fans were to draft Trevor Lawrence. Now Trevor Lawrence is going to have a real weapon. The question is, Travis Hunter says he wants to play cornerback and he wants to play wide receiver, which would put him at the extreme high risk of having every part of his body decimated, right? It's this guy, nobody's played defense and offense for a whole season, and it just puts him at risk of getting injured so much more. And what are they going to do with him? Are they going to make him the wide receiver? Obviously, he'd be a real weapon for Trevor Lawrence at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's be the best fit. He can break free. He's exceptional, and he says he wants to do both. But again, Travis Hunter, he don't call the shots. This is the NFL, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Travis Hunter being picked number 2. Of course, I mentioned the Raiders. Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, Idaho, 5'9", 211. Incredible at breaking tackles, incredible at catching short passes. Just this guy's going to be a real weapon for the Raiders, but the Raiders need to figure out what they're doing at the quarterback position. Did the chat go dead? Did everybody leave? Where's everybody at, guys? Nobody wants me to talk about football. Let me know. We will be talking about the big super fight this weekend, and I appreciate everybody that is with me here. We're just going over some of these draft picks. Of course, for me, the 49ers fans in position number 11 picked up Georgia defensive edge rusher. And the 49ers absolutely need to rebuild their defense and offensive line. So the only problem I had with Mikael Williams, and listen, guys, most of the players that came out of Georgia that are in this first round are exceptional talents. Is that Mikael Williams had a pretty serious injury last year to his ankle. And, I'm worried. As a 49er fan, you're worried, is this guy going to be prone to injuries? He's already coming off one last season. But this guy has exceptional talent at that position. He's fast. And he's actually this is something I just found out moments before I went live today. Mikael Williams is actually a very smart guy. And I'm going to tell you why, guys, because obviously today is Friday. The stock market closes in 1 hour. And I was listening to CNBC, which I listen to for my stocks and whatnot. I listened to that. And the financial advisor for Mikael Williams, draft pick for the 49ers, was on CNBC. Now, he represents tons of celebrity athletes. Mikael Williams already has one of the best financial advisors out there. And you'll be surprised how many of these athletes go into this blindly. Now, of course, we're dealing with college athletes having the NIL, so a lot of them are getting some really good amount of money as college athletes, particularly like Travis Hunter and people we saw like Shador Sanders. But Mikael Williams already has one of the best financial advisors ready to go, and he was with them yesterday in Atlanta when they called him up for the 49ers, which tells me this guy is smart. Average length of an NFL career is only 3.5 years. What you do with your money in those 3.5 years sets you up for the rest of the life. He mentioned, he tells his clients, you buy that $250,000 sports car and it's worth nothing in 3 years. Or you could do that $250,000 and I guarantee you it'll be worth $1 million in 10 years. So Mikael Williams, shout out to him. The 49er fans, a lot of them happy, a lot of them questioning maybe if we should have gone with Jalen Walker, also of Georgia, linebacker. Both of them, and he went to, looks like he went over to the Falcons. Both of them would have been exceptional picks. 49ers looking to bolster that defense and the offensive line. Now, speaking of the 49ers, guys, there was a lot of stuff going on this weekend where George Kittle did not report to the, they have pre-camps and whatnot. George Kittle's contract extension is not finalized. And a lot of people were saying, industry insiders were saying that George Kittle was going around saying he wants to be the highest paid tight end, that he's really wants to be compensated above and beyond. And George Kittle rebutted that the following day on social media and said, all of the shit you guys are saying is false. So the fact that he is not here in Santa Clara, where I used to live, Santa Clara at the training camp, does not indicate he does not want to be a 49er anymore. It just means that he's in negotiation and he has other shit to do. Now, he was hanging out with Purdy, invited Purdy to his beautiful mansion in Tennessee. just a week ago. And Purdy is at that camp. Purdy is at the camp in Santa Clara, and he hasn't even signed his contract extension. So many Niner fans speculating, will Shador Sanders be picked up by the 49ers in the second round? Come on now. We need to rebuild that defense. We have our old Saleh back as our defensive coach. And obviously, the 49ers don't need a third-string quarterback to be they already fumbled completely with Trey Lance. That was one of the worst draft picks. I don't think that they're going to be picking up Shador Sanders. He would not be a good fit for the 49ers organization. He just wouldn't. So what happened to the chat, guys? I'm out here talking. Obviously, this weekend we have some huge boxing event. We have a UK fight that is going to be, supposedly they've sold over 60,000 seats to this super fight. So let's transition into that. Maybe people will come in. If not, I'm going to cut this show short today, guys. Let me know what you think. I did a show on Monday night, started around 11 o'clock. It was a joke. It was a farce. And I just wanted to see if people were more interested in whether or not I came on the air and said absolutely nothing. In fact, it was a fucking joke. I was sleeping on the couch right behind me. I said I was in the doghouse, that it was going to be riveting content, riveting talk. Well, I didn't put talk, obviously. Riveting content. And that has more effing views and people in the room right now. You know, nobody what's going on with that? Maybe I'm just not good at talking about sports. I'm not sure, but where is everybody? Shout out to you guys if you're joining me and still listening. Let's get to some boxing talk then. And again, if anybody wants to join, I will drop the link. Just let me know. Obviously, it's Friday. The weigh-in happened today for this very, very, very exciting matchup. Two sons of former UK legends. These two UK legends, Chris Eubank's father and, of course, Conor Benn's fathers, they fought in 1990 for the very first time for the middleweight championship, guys. Let me get a quick picture so you guys could at least see back in the day, 1990, these were the two biggest UK stars. Eubanks and Conor Benn could not have been more different. And maybe their sons I think their sons might have more in common, but this was 1990. The hairstyles were much different, obviously, guys. Conor Benn's dad, very different than Chris Eubanks Sr. Chris Eubanks Sr., a very eccentric type guy. In fact, even then, people said, he said that boxing was just a means for him, for Chris Eubanks Sr. to have wealth. And somehow he was really good at it. But if you guys who know, especially if you're out there in the UK, Chris Eubanks Sr., he's an eccentric guy. His speaking voice, he's very proper. He's very educated. He's quite flamboyant. He even dresses flamboyant to this day. Some of y'all would probably call that shit zesty today. By today's standards, he would have been considered zesty. Nonetheless, he was a world champion middleweight, and these two fathers, this is why we're having a super fight in the UK, is because of these two dads going toe-to-toe beginning in 1990, then followed up in 1993. Shout out to Jimenez Video Productions. Shout out to that SS Spider. Raiders got a good pick last night in the draft. Absolutely. Ashton Genty is a demon on the field, and he's going to be an exceptional weapon. Last year, we saw how important a good running back was because my co-host, Philadelphia, Drew Evo, man, they had the absolute best. And Genty, he could absolutely be that type of running back, And we got Pete Carroll here in Las Vegas now. He's worked with running backs at Seattle in his career extensively well. Can the Las Vegas Raiders pick up a quarterback today? Are they going to be picking at spot number 37, Shador Sanders? Shador Sanders coming to Las Vegas? Or will it be the Browns? Or will it be somebody even later in the second round draft? Whew, I'm excited. I'm gonna be glued to the internet to see what's going on. Fonzie says, I saw the interview with Charlo, and I don't think he's all there, in my opinion. He should stay out of the ring and work on himself. Well, May 31, whether we like it or not, the return of that Charlo is coming back to Las Vegas right here at the Mandalay Bay Casino. Both of those main events, the one including Caleb Plant, are basically setup fights to see if Charlo and Caleb Plant will get in the ring later this year. Kind of sucks. Jimenez says, I think Sanders will be picked up by LV today. He might be a good fit for the Raiders. Maybe Pete Carroll can do something with him. We heard that his father, Dion, was thinking about wanting to be the coach here. You also have part owner Tom Brady of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's part owner. Maybe he could work with them. Maybe they can impart that wisdom and get the guy to be humble and to be somebody that's willing to learn from other people. Great coaches and great staff over at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to be excited to see what happens. Now, going back to tomorrow's big fight, guys, Conor Benn, Chris Eubanks, finally are going to fight. This has been a super fight in the UK in the making for quite some time. You guys will remember Conor Benn was one of the top welterweight contenders. Who was busted for enclomiphene citrate or enclomiphene, an completely illegal substance, which could have been why he was knocking out so many people. He knocked out Chris Algieri. He knocked out so many people. He was a very feared welterweight who, when he got busted on enclomiphene, was facing a 2-year suspension in the UK. He was already in the works to fight at a catchweight. Chris Eubanks Jr. At 157 pounds, welterweight fighting. Chris Eubanks, who had never fought below 160, fought as high as 168 pounds. We're doing both, Amanda. Glad to have you. SB, great to have you. Appreciate you guys in the chat saying hello. A happy Friday to everybody. She says boxing or football. Well, we're doing both today. We're going to try to squeeze in both before the 1 o'clock hour or maybe a little bit after that as I work from home. Right now, we're talking about the super fight that's going to happen tomorrow in London. Two sons of former legends in the UK. Back in the day when boxing was on regular TV, millions and millions of people were watching the fight. Not like it is today. Not like it is a struggle in Las Vegas to sell tickets to a boxing match. By the way, if you guys don't know, Fonzie is confirmed. We're going to be having a Shoe Shine meetup. So far, we got 4 people coming to the fight on May 3rd, T-Mobile Arena for the Monster Inoue from Japan right here in Las Vegas. Huge weekend coming for just, 3 nights of boxing. We got Ryan Garcia on Friday. Saturday, we have Canelo Alvarez all the way from Saudi Arabia. And somehow my mom, who says she's my biggest fan on YouTube, was not listening to my podcast. She could be listening right now because my mom has just told me this week that she's coming this weekend for the fight. And I was like, for real? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Who's coming from the family? And then she tells me, she's like, she's so excited. I haven't got my tickets to see Canelo. Mom, do you not listen to my fucking show? Canelo's not fighting in Las Vegas this weekend. I know, guys. Canelo is not fighting in Las Vegas this weekend. You're going to have to watch it on pay-per-view or however you watch it. Saturday afternoon, all the way from Saudi Arabia. Then again, he's only fighting a guy named Skull, a Cuban, to pick up that last title, to be undisputed again. And according to Fonzie and so many people, Skulls was knocked out by Conor Benn, on the guy on the right in sparring, who used to be a welterweight. Now, guys, this catchweight fight is Saturday at 160 pounds, and this is fucking crazy. They're going to be making a lot of money. This morning, Chris Eubanks Jr. missed weight at 8 a.m., He was given, I think, 2 hours and could only lose another half pound. He came in. Now, this fight, this time around, it's a middleweight fight, 160 pounds. I think it was 160.05. He repeatedly got on the scale. Could not lose any more weight. Practically, the guy's practically dead on the scale. Those of you who watch UFC, you know that people, when they lose the weight, sometimes they're losing weight that is far beyond their natural ability. That's the case for Chris Eubanks. He could not lose that extra 0.05, and he was fined $500,000 this morning. He was fined $100,000 because he put an egg at the press conference in his hand, and when they faced off, he slapped him. He slapped Conor Benn. Smashed the fucking egg right on his face. $100,000 for that. And I think $50,000 came out of his pocket to pay other people on this card. There was some kind of he paid fighters that, I don't know, he volunteered that money. But he's out $650,000 before the fight even happens. Shout out to F Donuts. Salute, my homie. Salute to everybody out there that supports F Donuts. And, of course, everybody out there in YouTube Landia. This guy is out $650,000 before the fight even starts tomorrow. But do not feel sorry for them. 60,000 plus tickets. 60,000 plus tickets have been sold already. And they've already agreed to fight again, no matter what happens tomorrow. Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. will fight a second time later this year, providing none of them get seriously hurt, knocked out. Well, you know, sometimes if you've been knocked out, sometimes they make you wait 6 months, depending on the boxing commission, or cuts. Cuts are very serious, but they'd like to fight again in October, which is, you know, their fathers. I just showed you guys their pictures of their dads. Their dads were UK legends, both champions. They ended up fighting their rematch 3 years later at 168-pound division. 3 years later, 1993, their fathers rematch. These two want a rematch this year. They want a rematch this year. That's right. Good to see you, Mom Food. Appreciate you in here. Always. You guys got to check out my homegirl, Mom Food. Awesome content on YouTube. A great content creator. Make sure you check her out. These guys have agreed to fight later on this year, providing everything goes well. They will fight again, providing the sales are great, which it looks like tomorrow. You know, in the UK, this fight is doing exceptionally well. They will fight again. That's right. They will fight again, second time this year. Now, there was rumors that Eubanks was going to get an opportunity to fight Canelo. You know, that he was being considered. He was on the short list by Canelo's team. Now, this is crazy, but Ben Shalom, I believe he's a promoter for Chris Eubanks Jr., he says, I think it's going to happen in February next year. There are going to be 2 fights with Conor Benn. He thinks he's going to get a fight with Canelo because of the association with Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh Season. They think they're going to be on that list. Now, here's where it could get interesting. And, you know, he has fought. This guy Eubanks has fought earlier in his career. He fought at super middleweight. For him to melt down to 160 today is ridiculous on his body. He had some good wins at 168. Maybe even the best wins of his career were at 168. He almost got knocked out by a smaller fighter who had weight in Liam Smith at 154 pounds. He almost got, yeah, I appreciate that. Super sticker from Mom Food. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to you and your lovely family, Mom Food. I appreciate that so much as I'm blurring my face here, guys. Anyways, these two. Canelo has done a lot of things in his career, including finally getting a home stadium fight in Guadalajara. But 2 things that have evaded his career, and he is a global superstar. By the way, I don't know if he's aging like that or if y'all, the people putting together these pictures are fucking with him and trying to age him. You know, there's aging apps. There's so much. I mean, but his skin ain't looking good here, Canelo. I don't know if y'all are fucking with him and making his skin look like that, but he does look considerably older than Eubanks, who was also in his late 30s. Now, Canelo has not done 2 things that probably are on his wish list of global accomplishments in the sport of boxing, and one of them is to fight in a massive stadium in the UK, in London, the O2 Arena, where this fight could potentially happen. There's no doubt in my mind that Canelo destroys Eubank Jr., just as he destroyed Sanders. But it would be nice for Canelo's career to fill up a stadium, maybe 60 to 80,000 people, and do so, beat the crap out of one of their favorite fighters in the UK. It would be kind of cool. The other thing Canelo hasn't done in his illustrious career is do with something that Gennady Golovkin did before he retired, is go to Japan and fight a Japanese champion. Now, the idea of going to Japan is a big deal to a lot of fighters because they get paid a lot of money. Japanese boxing fans are some of the wealthiest fans in the world. And that's why Inoue, who's coming here next Sunday to Las Vegas, is such a global star, is because of the power for him to sell tickets, his star power in Japan. I mean, he is a freaking rock star, Inoue, who's coming here. Japanese fighters, Japan, it's going to be a lot. You're going to be hearing a lot about Japanese fighters in the next few weeks from me on this show because For one thing, one of our welterweight champions from the U.S., welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr. of Top Rank, he, looking to make a big payday, is going to be defending his title, not against Unification, not against Boots Ennis, who he turned down $1.7 million, but he's going to defend his title by going into the Japanese opponent's backyard. That's coming up. Jin Sasaki, that fight was confirmed, guys. This is big news in the welterweight division. Not my favorite division because a lot of these champions, well, it looks like they want to duck each other. Norman Jr., he's going to Japan to defend his title June 19, 2025 for probably a huge payday. Maybe not as much as he was going to make fighting Boots Ennis of Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Nonetheless, Sasaki can bang. Sasaki is a fun fighter to watch, very much in that Japanese but Mexican style boxing. They come forward, they throw a lot of punches, they eat punches, very exciting. This is going to be a very fun fight. Unfortunately, Japanese fans are very quiet and sedated. This is going to be a good fight on TV, but probably not fun to be there. Completely different atmosphere in Las Vegas, guys. When you go to a fight in Las Vegas, you can expect it to be a big party, which is what I hope happens next Sunday, guys. I don't know. I've been talking with a lot of people that might be coming next Sunday. I hope they show up at the last minute. It is a Sunday fight at the T-Mobile. And as I mentioned, the monster from Inoue, Japanese champion, pound for pound champion of the world, Inoue, is coming here. And ticket sales were so bad. Ticket sales are so bad for next Sunday's fight that they decided everyone who bought bleachers, you've now been upgraded. They are going to close the entire top section of the T-Mobile next Sunday. And so I guess we scored a pretty good deal. I mean, Fonzie and I were talking. We're not going to have shitty seats. They're not exactly cheap, but nobody at the T-Mobile next Sunday will have a bad seat. Every seat. And now because of that, I think they're getting pretty close to selling that out because they've closed off the top section, probably eliminating over 5,000 seats or more. And now they only have to worry about filling up maybe 12 or 13,000 seats. So I'm very excited about next Sunday, guys. In fact, I've been talking to some very big YouTube creators that might be going with us. So it's going to be fun, man. If you're out there listening, tap in, man. Let everybody know. Welterweight division. Speaking of historic Las Vegas fights, the Filipino legend Manny Pacquiao is returning to boxing now. I lost track of how old Manny is. I think he could be 45 years old. But Mario Barios, who I met last year in Las Vegas, he was with Brian Mendoza. Great guys. Met them at Cosmopolitan. And I was shocked by how big Mario Barrios is. I used to think I was 5'11". I thought I've definitely been shrinking as I hit my 40s, but I think Mario Barrios looked about 5'11". His shoulders are wide. I mean, I said, come on, dog. You going to move up to 154? Look at you, man. You swole. Bigger than me. I weigh 209 pounds. He looked bigger than me. Obviously, he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. And your boy over here is struggling, trying to look good for the summer. Manny Pacquiao, 45. If somebody can Google it, 45, 46. I don't know. Running for Senate again in the Philippines. This is official, guys. This is the direction Mario Barrios chose to go. Obviously, a lot of nostalgia with Manny Pacquiao. Lots of fans remember his heyday, his great fights. Maybe for Mario Barrios, it's would be an honor to share the ring with Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao just fought an exhibition in Japan for money. He fought a kickboxer, and that's available on YouTube for you guys to watch. He fought a kickboxer about the size of Mario Barrios, and the kickboxer was beating the shit out of Manny Pacquiao. So I don't expect Mario Barrios to have, who, by the way, is trained by San Jose's Bob Santos, who now lives in Las Vegas. Shout out to the Bob Santos family. I don't expect Mario Barrios to have any trouble with 45, 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao at this point. He's 46. Thank you, Mom Food. Nonetheless, this fight makes financial sense to everybody involved, maybe to PBC. He's 46 and will be 47 in December. That's remarkable. Even George Foreman wasn't that old when he came back and fought for a world title and actually won that title. That's a great thing about George Foreman. George, who just passed away, rest in peace. Can Manny Pacquiao do the unthinkable? Damn. Last time I saw Pac-Man was with Thurman. And Thurman, I mean, he gets roasted, but he just got, he's potentially going to fight Tim Tszyu. He's back in his late 30s and whatnot. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao is going to get an opportunity once more to fight to become a world champion. And if he does it, he will be the oldest welterweight champion in the history of boxing. For Mario Barrios, it's not for me as a fight fan, something I want, but obviously it makes a lot of money. He's going to make him a lot of money. This division, welterweight division, as I mentioned earlier in the show today, guys, I'm kind of disappointed how this division is going. Instead of getting a unified, undisputed world champion, we're going farther and farther away from that because this next Friday, superstar Ryan Garcia against Drew. If you're available, hop in, man. You got the link, Drew. But this is big news this week for hardcore boxing fans. Rolly Romero, shout out to JC, appreciate you. Appreciate you being here, homie. Rolly Romero, who was gifted the 140-pound title. Yeah, Rolly Romero went from 135 to 140. Somehow was getting the best of him handed to him by a 41-year-old Venezuelan guy who I have pictures with, guys. That was really that was fun meeting that 40. What was it, Barroso from Venezuela? They stopped the fight and they said, Rolly Romero, you were the winner. And everybody was stunned because the fight wasn't over and the fight was just getting good. They had exchanged knockdowns. Nobody understood why the fight was stopped by referee Steve. Was it Steve? I don't know. In fact, I think Fonzie got a picture with that referee who stopped that fight. That happened at the Cosmopolitan about 2 years ago. Rolly Romero became a world champion, the WBA junior welterweight champion. That's right. He had it for one fight. Then Pitbull Cruz beat the crap out of him, knocked him out. Rolly Romero was knocked out viciously by Tank Davis. I mean, the guy's been knocked out a lot. Yes, he had a lot of power at 135. He can crack. He can hurt you. He knows Ryan Garcia very well. Ryan Garcia, never a world champion. Now, not at 135, not at 140 pounds. Can't even make 140. This fight's going to be at welterweight. And one of these guys is going to walk away as the WBA regular welterweight champion next Friday night in New York City on pay-per-view or Fire Stick or however you watch your boxing. I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's not my business. One of these guys is going to be a world champion. And one of these guys is coming off not only just being knocked out recently, the other guy's coming off of a 1-year suspension for the drug of choice was Osterine. He said he never took it. He said it was tainted in my supplements. It was in my vitamins. I don't know. I don't know what people give me. Tony Weeks was the referee. Yeah. Fonzie got a great picture with Tony Weeks we saw him at the Cosmopolitan and we got a great picture with him. Thank you so much, SP, for sharing that. That's right, guys. My co-host Drew Evo, maybe he's not available right now, but check out his channel, subscribe to it. He's trying to build up. Appreciate you so much. Thanks a lot, Tony Boswell. Great to see you here today. Are you excited about the draft tonight, round 2, or are you more excited about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubanks Jr.? This fantasy middleweight fight tomorrow. Over 60,000 screaming UK fans. But we got our own stuff going on in America next Friday, obviously. Not 60,000. 300 people are going to get to watch this fight. You cannot buy tickets to see Ryan Garcia fight Rolando Romero of Las Vegas because it is a private event in Times Square. Maybe you can get a homie who works in Times Square to let you stay after hours and watch from the window of their corporate offices. Or maybe you have a hotel with a view and you'll be able to look out the window and watch these two guys fight. Or maybe you're cool enough and special enough that you're on the special 300 people invite only list by Turki Al-Sheikh and the promoters behind this incredible fight next Friday. 4 great fights. I'm going to go into detail with Drew this week about these great fights on Friday, Canelo, and of course the fight that some of us will be attending next Sunday right here in Las Vegas. But the welterweight division, guys, one of the most storied historically boxing divisions. You know, right now it's kind of in shambles. You got Boots Ennis looking like the guy who has 2 belts, who could unify, who could potentially knock out everybody. He's going to have an opportunity shall I say, one of these guys here on the screen below me is going to have an opportunity to fight Philadelphia's fighter, champion, unified welterweight champion, because the WBA says that their regular champion, whoever wins this fight, is going to be forced to negotiate a fight with Philadelphia's Boots Ennis, who in my opinion is the best welterweight in the world. So we could be seeing Ryan Garcia. If my gut feeling is correct, Ryan Garcia will stop Rolly Romero, who's been stopped a few times at this point, probably. If Ryan Garcia lands his famous left hook that destroyed, the last guy he fought, who's on this card. Why can't I think of his name right now? Devin Haney. Destroyed Devin Haney. If that hook lands on Rolly Romero, it could be short night for Rolando Romero, and we could be seeing probably, undoubtedly, the best fight Ryan Garcia will ever be involved in, next to the one he had with Tank. He had no chance of beating Tank at 136 pounds, but we could be potentially seeing Ryan Garcia get knocked out. we could be seeing Boots Ennis have the most popular, famous name on his resume stop Ryan Garcia. I don't know. It's up to Rolly. Can Rolly land some big shots this next Friday and stop Ryan Garcia from achieving his dream of becoming an actual true welterweight champion? Again, guys, there's a W8 title, but it's junior title, regular champion. That's like saying, I want a medium soda. Oh, no, but we got the big gulp, Thanks a lot, everybody joining us on a Friday. I appreciate everybody that is here. Don't forget to hit that like button. JC, appreciate you. Tony Boswell coming in here at the last minute. So that's what I got for you guys. It's almost 1 o'clock, and I'm going to be wrapping this up very shortly. But something that happened this week, and Fonzie, if you're still here, this is amazing, guys, because I've been talking to people behind the scenes, not directly with the management team of Lucas Bari, good friend of the show, a fighter that we've been following his entire career, and Floyd Scoffield on the left-hand side. Floyd Scoffield recently got mysteriously ill in Saudi Arabia when he was going to fight for his first world title opportunity against Shador Stevenson. Somehow ended up in the hospital that week, mysteriously. Not just him. There was a heavyweight fighter who also fell mysteriously ill. Shout out to Mariah May. I appreciate you. Hi, she says, hi, Shoeshine here from Mom Foods Channels. I appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. That'd be fantastic. Fonzie says, I saw Ramon Cardenas last match, and that kid is weak, slow, and believe he might get knocked out in the early rounds, which then we can go get drunk on Cinco de Mayo weekend, right, Fonzie? Maybe we'll end up at the New York, or Lord knows, maybe we'll walk across the street and end up at Papi Chulo's party in front of Harrah's on a Sunday night. Who knows what we're going to do? Probably going to be a short night, guys. As I mentioned, both of these fighters right below me, Fonzie and I have become very close to the mother of Floyd Scoffield. Not his father, who's in his corner as his trainer, who's very famous, and people, people in the boxing world criticize his dad for being too on hands. They even criticize him as far as saying he's zesty and sus and what. I don't give a shit about that. He's done something fantastic with his son, which is make him a world title contender. Did he really become ill in Saudi Arabia, or did he just want to avoid the Shakur Stevenson fight on the week of? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't asked his mother. Not like they would tell us the truth. I have to take their word for it that he fell mysteriously ill. But him being a Golden Boy fighter, Golden Boy is putting on the big fight of the summer, Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And Lucas Bari, a friend of the show, managed by Canadian former fighter Phil LaGreco of Toronto, used to work out here in Las Vegas, was trained at one moment. Phil LaGreco, trained by, the father of Emiliano Vargas, Fernando Ferros Vargas, used to train right here in Las Vegas, did Phil LaGreco, now a manager of Lucas, and brought up his career really well, guys. Lucas went from not being able to get a fight in Canada to winning all the fights after post-COVID on DAZN and getting a big deal with Jake Paul. Jake Paul, MVP, working with Golden Boy. I swear to God, I willed this fight into existence, guys. I swear I willed this fight. I kept telling everybody that knew these two people that they should fight. And it's been announced. It's official, guys. I'm so proud to say that this will be on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez. Hopefully it actually happens. There's been a history of Floyd Scoffield having to pull out of he pulled out of not only the fight against Shador Stevenson, but in the past he's had to pull out of a fight because of some type of injury. That's 2 fights I know of he's pulled out of. This would not be a good thing. Floyd, this is a great test for you. Lucas Body, almost a 90% knockout streak. Heavy-handed, not the fastest counterpuncher, but fast enough to have destroyed Lucas. Lucas destroyed this guy named Anderson Silva, Anderson Silva, H2O. Knocked him out on Netflix. I don't know. Millions and millions of people saw that knockout. He wasn't supposed to win that fight against the speedy, athletic H2O Silva. He did. He knocked the shit out of that dude out. And obviously his power can change a fight in a heartbeat. Fonzie says, I'm sad that Stevenson versus Zepeda is going to be in the East Coast. That should be a Vegas matchup. I agree with you 100%. That fight is going to happen in June or July, right? See if I still have my graphic from that. But this fight, guys, I'm so happy to report this fight has been added to the card. And I appreciate everybody that's here listening to some boxing talk and football talk. I hope you guys enjoy your Friday night watching Draft Night 2, if that's what you're doing, or whatever you're doing, celebrating a good Friday night, guys. But that is going to be, we just talked about that. Fonzie in the chat says Stevenson versus William Zepeda, El Camarón Zepeda from Mexico. This is going to be a brilliant fight, one that's been in the works for such a long time. It will not be the main event, and I'm not mad at it. I remember I was in Reno, Nevada 5 years ago when I decided to start my podcast about boxing. I saw Shakur Stevenson win his first title against a Mexican guy at 126, featherweight. He was the main event, Top Rank, putting on a great show in Reno, Nevada. My friends were on, a couple of fighters from San Jose were on that card. A good friend, Francisco Esparza, fought on that night. Was his last professional fight, unfortunately. And Shakur Stevenson, the main event. Half the people in Reno, Nevada walked out of that effing auditorium. Half the people walked out and said, you know what? Let's go see what's popping outside because this fight is boring as shit. The night he won his first title, I literally saw half the people empty the stands because it was such a boring fight. Now, under Top Rank, he had the same issues. He got to be the head main event, televised in front of millions and millions of people, online TV, or whatever, on ESPN. And the consensus was that watching Shakur Stevenson as a main event was like taking an Ambien. That's right. Straight go to sleep. Hopefully you guys don't think my show is like falling asleep or taking an Ambien, guys. I did do a sleep stream this week just to see if you're more interested in watching me go to sleep and not say a goddamn word or talk about sports and talk about Vegas. And that has more views than these shows combined. Let's get this show. Let's get the views up, guys. Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda is not the main event. Edgar Berlanga, the Puerto Rican. It's close to Puerto Rican Day Parade. Maybe that's why. But Edgar Berlanga versus Shiraz, coming over to the U.S. for his debut. Even though he trains here, Shiraz will be the main event at 168 pounds. That card is stacked, guys. This is going to be a very fun fight coming up. Summer's starting to shape up. The summer is starting to shape up. Well, I'm trying to get in shape, guys. This Las Vegas is hot as shit. People don't wear clothes in Las Vegas in the summer, and it's time to get the winter weight off. I've got like 4 weeks. Are you guys trying? I saw Mom Food, by the way, guys. Mom Food had an excellent stream last night. That was yesterday during the day. She's working out on TV, on YouTube. That was a lot of fun. That's motivating as hell. The only exciting fight Stevenson has been in was when his family was at the press conference. Well, it's interesting you say that because we were, Fonzie, you remember that we were watching Floyd Schofield fight, the main event at Cosmopolitan, and they showed on the big screen, they showed Shakur Stevenson live tweeting, talking shit about Floyd Schofield, which is why the Floyd Schofield fight, when he got the opportunity to fight Stevenson, I was really disappointed. He fell ill mysteriously, man. That was to go from that fight at the Cosmopolitan, the first time you were headlining, and then just go into a title championship fight against one of the best fighters out there, Shador Stevenson, and not being able to fulfill that obligation. It sucks, guys. It sucks. Dave in the 702. We'll be back on the air Monday night at a regularly scheduled time, 7:30, to talk about everything that happened this weekend in the sports world, whether it's going to be the rest of the draft talk with Drew, my co-host, and of course this boxing weekend coming up ahead, Cinco de Mayo, just 7 days away from Cinco de Mayo weekend. Big major fights, 3 days of fights. Who's coming to town? Who's coming to Las Vegas? It could be a big surprise. Could be. Check it out, Fonzie. Man, she was doing a little workout stream. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It's motivation. You know what I mean? Just get up, move. I did my 60 minutes of cardio this morning. I'll see you guys Monday. Everybody have a blessed Friday. Thank you for tuning in. Until then, peace out, everybody.